Good day, Raptors! Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. And this would be our first tutorial in this series. As you can see, I have opened Unity 5.5.4 F1. That is, I believe, not the newest one, maybe. I don't really know if I have brought up a new one, but for me that is the latest. So just go from projects to new, give the project a name. I'm going to say go home and choose a location where you're going to store it. I have gone to my desktop, go home, made a folder there, and the game. Select it, and we're not going to use any assets. This is everything from scratch and definitely 3D, not 2D, and let's go. So guys, I'm a little bit sick, but that should not bring me down. Down. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is actually just the player. We're going to set up a nice terrain, we're going to get the camera into its angle, and then we're going to start with our player. So let's create a empty, set its origin to 0, 0, 0, and move it down by -0.25. Then bring in a 3D object, cube, and reset its origin. Reset, bring it in, make that 0. If I go to left side, trying to keep everything below that line there. So why are we going to do 0.5? Go out of orthographic, and we're going to set cube by 20 by 20. As easy as that. And then we're going to create a few folders. So the first folder we're going to create is levels. Next one is going to be scripts, and one after that is going to be material. Sorry for my spelling, do not mind that. And the last folder that we're going to create is prefabs. So let's go first into materials and create a new material. There it is. And we're going to call this ground. Going to go from standard to diffuse, and we're going to give it a green like that, bring it a little bit down, and just drag and drop it on there. That's going to be our green material, and save the scene in levels, and that's going to be level 1. Okay, the next material what we're going to create is our player. And as you remember, we're also going to change this from static to diffuse, and we made it blue. I'm not going to make it entirely dark blue, a little bit light into it. That's going to be our character. talking about characters, let's create one. Oh wait, we have to set up the camera. So bring it up to about, let's say, 11 by negative 15. Give it a rotation on the X value. Pretty much there, 45. And if I go into my game view, you can see we have the same top down. Now the camera is not going to be moving at all, so it's just going to be there at all times. But yeah, so let's finally create our beautiful character. So bring in a, where is it, 3D object and a cube. Reset its position and move it up. Drop the material onto it, and that's going to be our character. So other components that you actually have to add to the player is going to be, first we have to rename it. Player. Next we have to give it its tag, player. Then add component, physics, and a rigid body. At the moment we're not going to change anything here, but in the future we are going to add a material physics and going to play with these values. But for now that is perfect, just the way it is. Then go into scripts and create a new C#. So guys, I do not love Java. Java is a terrible thing. So I am C#. I'm sharp as a knife. And we're going to call this player movement. And remember, do not put a gap between the two, because the script's not going to work at all after that. So just make the first letter of the name a capital letter and the rest is normal. Okay, so let's open that up. Oh wait, before you open that up, go into player and just minimize all of this and add it. Add player to player and open up player movement. So how this is going to be working is first going to be a neat freak and change all of that. Remove that. Remove that. Hopefully you already know what start is for and what is update. So I'm going to create a new note for myself. I'm going to call this public, and another one is going to be private. So in public we're going to do the following. We're going to create a public float that's going to be our move speed. Move speed. Too many E's. Oh, and remember your comma point. If you do not, your whole script will going to be freaking out. Next thing we're going to create is a private so you do not really have to put in private, but I do because of the way I see my script at the end, so I know what's public and what's private, and you do not have to search for everything. So we're going to create a private float, and that's going to be our max speed. And then after that, we're going to bring in a private vector free. We're going to say that is input. Its name is input. Do not add that as a capital letter, because you will mess up your script. And one after that is private, another vector free, and that's going to be our spawn point. I'm just going to call it spawn, and that is all of the values that we need right now. So first thing that we're going to create is spawn point. So what we actually want to do is we want to make spawn point the location of the player where he is right now. So wherever the player is right now, it will actually spawn, like there, there, or there, or there. But as you know, if you play the game, you already get there. But when you die, you're going to be spawning wherever you first started up. So if you ended there, you're going to start there after you died. So yeah, that's a simple way of making a spawn point. Well, one of the ways. So let's open up the script again. We're going to make a spawn to be equal transform dot position. Then, if you do not know what that is, transform is, well, it is that. If you make a capital letter, the T a capital letter, you're moving a other object in your scene's position. But if that's a small letter, that is going to be the object that you put on the script. As easy as that. Then we're going to go to update. Now a few things are going to happen here. We're going to put input equals new vector free. And before we continue here, I have to actually show you where I get these values. So if you go to edit and project settings and go to, where is it, input, you'll get to these axes. This is all the inputs of all of your normal inputs. If you want to add a new input, you just say from 18 to 19, 19 to 20, whatever value yours is. So these two values we're actually going to be working with, horizontal and vertical. Now horizontal is definitely the left and right, as you can see there. The other buttons is A and D. And vertical is up and down, and that's going to be S and W. So it will work with S and W and also the up and down keys. So we're going to use these values to actually drive our character forward. As easy as that. So open up your script again. So we're going to call those values. We're going to make a capital letter input, and that's going to be get axis, and we're going to call horizontal. if you do not know how to spell horizontal, I do, but you just go and get the name there. You can just select that whole thing. And you can also change the name, but just remember, if you change the name here, you have to change the name in the script. And horizontal, comma. We're not going to put in a jump for this character because the world is as high as he is, so what's the point of that? And then the z value is going to be the exact same thing. Input dot get axis, and instead of horizontal, we're going to go vertical. It's easy as that. So, and close up the last bracket and close it entirely. Then the next thing is going to be, we're going to actually put up a max speed for our character. So I'm going to put that in an if statement. So if I think rigid body. Actually, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to actually add another public rigid body, and that's going to be our player. The reason why I do it like this is because I actually want to know what I'm working with. Transform is not really a separate thing, but rigid body, I want to actually see what I'm working with. So player dot transform dot tag, no, not tag, sorry, wrong location, player dot velocity dot magnitude is smaller than max speed has to do the following. No, stop doing that. We're going to actually add force to that cube to move to the location what we want to go to. So we're going to say player dot add, not as, add force, and can bring input dot input multiply max speed. No, not max speed. Move speed. So what's actually happening here is we're going to go get our rigid body on our player like we did here, and we're going to add force to that object in the input values that we created here, and we're going to take that input values, multiply our move speed that we created up here, because if we do not multiply that, we're going to move add force of 1, because that value is also always going to be or a -1 or a 0 or a 1. It's going to move between those three. It's not really just going to move from 0 to 1, without all the digits in the middle. So if you press W in a little bit, just a little bit, it's just going to move a little bit forward. But if you push your W key hard, it's going to move a lot. So let's go and see if this works. So we're going to go back to our player. I don't see any errors. And we're going to drag our player into our player. And we're going to give it a move speed of 35. And let's test this out. So why is nothing happening? Alright, go to prefabs and drag player and make it a prefab. That's pretty much how you make a prefab. You can also go and say create, where's prefabs? Prefab, and drag that into a prefab. But for the sake, we're just going to drag in from the there to there. But big problem is something's not right. Oh, I know. We did not actually put a max speed value because that is a private value. So we're going to say equals 10f. If you do not know what the f is for, it is for float. If you have a float value, you put f. If you have an integer value, you just put in a value. It's easy as that. So let's go back and let's say play. Now what do you guys see? That is not how my previous character was going. He didn't actually move like that. He just moved from side to side. He did not roll at all. So, an easy fix. If you go to your player and you go down to its rigid body and go to constraints, freeze, position, and freeze rotation. We want to freeze rotation at all of them. We do not want the player to rotate at all. Just want to move it. And you don't really have to put a freeze on any of those because we're using those two and the Y is when it's falling. So yeah, that's not necessary. So now you see it's already a little bit slidey, but that's a good thing. But we're still going to create a material prefab, just for the sake. But that's going to be on our next video. So I have seen me already all over the time. So in the next video we're going to put in a material, physics material, and also we're going to do that crazy particle effect. If you are not subscribed to me, remember to subscribe, destroy that like button, and destroy the comments. I will look for you in the comments and I'll join the chat at all times. So guys, I hope you guys enjoy this lovely video. I hope it helped of just making a basic character. In the next video we're going to do what I said we're going to do, and stay tuned to the next video. Cheers guys.